jury process. But first, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Poddex, for sponsoring this ad or this episode. Visit poddex.com. Use promo code TCNS for 10% off your first purchase. I'd also like to highlight a episode goal to reach $50 by the end of this episode. I think it's set for 3 days. So if you'd like to support the channel, go to streamlabs.com/truecrimeneversleeps. I'm going to try to start having a goal for each video. And now let's get on with this show. Today we're going to talk about a topic that most people wonder about. We always talk about criminals and their horrific actions, the damage they make to other people. But today we'll talk about how the jury selection process works. Who are these people? How are they selected? What do they have to do? And more. So to get started, we must understand when a jury is needed. According to the Supreme Court, jury trial right applies only when serious offenses are at hand. Light offenses and misdemeanors don't invoke it. For purpose of this right, a serious offense is one that carries a potential sentence of more than 6 months imprisonment. This happens because it is a person's life and future being judged. There has to be a way of judging this person as fair as possible. By having people in a jury who swear to not be biased and only analyze the facts, this judgment becomes fairer and more precise. Here are 2 situations where jury duty would be called. A criminal trial. An individual is accused of committing a crime that is considered against society as a whole. 12 people and alternates make up a criminal jury. These people are in charge for voting for guilty or innocent at the end of the trial. Civil trial. Litigants seek remedies for private wrongs and don't necessarily have a broader social impact. In criminal cases, matters are almost always decided by a jury. But in civil, one can often opt to have either a jury or a judge decide the case. The selection process works on a simple way. Depending on the case, lawyers and or judges select juries by a process known as voir dire, which means to speak the truth in Latin. The judge and attorneys for both sides ask potential jurors questions to determine if they are competent and suitable to serve in the case. The selection process is simple, but not as simple. So there is a 3-stage selection process. Compiling a master list. This will allow the lawyers and judges to analyze the people and verify if they're all eligible to serve on jury duty. They are randomly selected from sources that may include various lists such as voter registration lists, licensed drivers, and ID card holders. Summoning the veneer. The selected/eligible people receive notifications. It's that note you get in the mail that you never want to open. Once summoned to court, prospective jurors make up the panels from which trial juries are chosen. Jurors will be qualified by the judge to make sure they meet the requirements for jury duty. After jury assembly, a judge or courtroom deputy called a bailiff may appear and divide you into groups. Juror group will be assigned and sent to specific courtrooms for jury selection. The process takes time, effort, and a lot of training. The jury will decide whether a person goes to jail for a pretty significant period of time. The person is already going through a lot of stress and uncertainty. It doesn't matter if the person is guilty or innocent. He or she deserves the fairest judgment possible by qualified people to judge them. Personal beliefs should not be taken into consideration, and the jury must stick to the law and the Constitution. It is a tough process that most people are qualified to do. Critical thinking and the ability to analyze facts, data, and statistics is very important, as well as having the ability to listen to all the facts without letting their emotions make the final decision. Jury duty is an important part of the legal system in the U.S., and it has been helpful to countless people. It has brought value to the American society and to the people who live in the land of the free. And that's a wrap for today's episode. As we all should agree, crimes are never good and bring sadness to countless people. It is important, though, for us to try to understand the reasoning behind such tragedies and create awareness to avoid it from happening again. This has been True Crime Never Sleeps, and we're here to bring you the best stories full of details and knowledge. For more information on the podcast and cases we covered, follow us on Twitter at TrueCrimeNS or on Instagram at True Crime Never Sleeps Podcast. Once again, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Poddex. Visit poddex.com and use promo code CinemaGold for 10% off your first purchase. Thank you, and we'll see you tomorrow.